to have a good start and get the consent of Allah. I didn't decide which language I was going to speak, either Turkish or English, but I think most of the audience are speaking English, so I will continue my speech in English, if you allow me. I was hesitant about what the topic should be and in such a summit, because there's lots of different ideas going around Islam, and the last incident happened in Paris has affected everybody and made a black sign on the Muslim people, because the people who committed to them was supposedly to be a Muslim person. And of course we have to send our condolences to the French people, and besides that I think we have to send our condolences to the people who are living in Palestine, who are living in Syria, who are living in Iraq, and thousands of people are getting killed there. So I think we have to condemn any kind of terrorism, either coming from a group or from a state, which is very important, I think, to be observed. Other than that, terrorism is not just an action caused by a group. Sometimes it's caused by states. So I think we should be very, very aware of the effects, global effects of terrorism. But today, I think the good topic will be what kind of other terrorisms beside killing people are happening around the globe. And I choose one topic to be financial terrorism, because I think Islam's contribution to the world development will come through our belief in Quran, and some verses from Quran I believe may contribute a lot to the developing world and a global world in such an extent that we may stop a financial terrorism that is killing a lot of people's life in deterioration of income distribution and the state's debt burden, which brings the world a lot of instability and causing people to become terrorists. And nobody is taking a strong stand that this may happen just by financial means. What can we expect from a poor person, an unknowledgeable person, if we don't give them jobs, if we don't provide them with the basic health cares, basic needs that they should? They can either go and become a victim of alcohol, they can become victim of terrorism, they can become victim of theft, and they can become criminals. So how we guide the world, how we support people is very important in the sense that the financing of a country, the financing method of the industry is very important and crucial, because if we don't take the right steps using that and don't understand what's going on in the world, sometimes if we cannot cure the microbe, then, or we cannot find the right medicine for it, then we don't have a chance to cope with it. So I think I will a bit concentrate on the fact that there is a very big economic terrorism going around the world. What do I mean by deterioration of income distribution? Because there's a very big economic development going in the world. We expect the wealth should increase, but the gap between the rich and the poor nations are widening. The gap within each nation's rich and poor is also broadening. Even in the wealthiest country in the world, America's current level of income inequality is at historic level top. 1% seizes more than 65% of the gain in total income. So 99% has a 35%, and just 1% has the 65%. In the debt burden for the nations, most of the nations are caught in a debt trap, limiting their political sovereignty and causing poverty within nations. And in the end, we are finding people in mass number migrating towards Europe, trying to pass the Mediterranean Sea, dying in the way because they have no other chances. They are in a trap. So what kind of environment should we provide them so that these very sad incidents, the incident in Paris was awful and hurt us all. But let's not forget that thousands of people died in the Mediterranean Sea this summer. Nobody is addressing them. Just some pictures in the newspapers. But what is the causes for that? What is the causes for that? And I think financial system in the world, which is driven by the banks, the capitalist system, is one of the basic foundations of this happening. That's why I'm addressing that. In our Holy Book Quran, Allah says, Allah hath permitted trade and forbidden usury. And in the next verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah will deprive usury of all growth, but will give increase for deeds of charity. So in these two verses, we openly understand that interest-based capitalist financial system is forbidden by the Creator because it is not humanistic. You earn money if you work, but if you work and earn some money, you are not allowed to put that money in the bank and sit at home and earn money. You have to work again to earn more. You have to either put an intellectual property. You have to physically work or intellectually work to be able to gain a living. Other than that, by just receiving some money from your parents or earning in some time of your life, putting your money, placing your money in the bank and earning money has changed the social structure of the world and brought this deterioration of income distribution. Why is that so? In Turkey, I'll give you a sample. Of the top 500 companies' profits in 2014, 50% of these profits went to the banks. 50% of the profit. Government is only taking 20% of the profit as a tax in Turkey. But 50% of the profit is going to the banks. What kind of a just system is that? And industrials, as like me, getting 99% of all risks of purchasing, production, technology, personnel management, doing all these maybe 100 stages to just make one profit, and 50% is going away just by a system. So the excessive amount of money in the world created is imbalancing the whole economy. There is so much accumulation of interest-based money in the world. It is like a tsunami going and hitting commodity markets, going and hitting countries, nations, disturbing their lives. Such a terrorism has not been openly, very openly addressed. But Islam's contribution as a religion, showing that this is not going to bring justice, this is going to bring turmoil in the world, and Allah doesn't have the consent of this. If we understand just one principle and try to apply that, will flourish a lot of things in the world in the right way and bring justice into the economy. So everybody has to work, either take the same risks as the industrialist taking or the businessman taking. Without this risk-sharing system in the capitalist economy that we are living in, I don't think we will receive any just system in the near future. So as in the past, I would like to address one phrase from Prince Charles. If there is much misunderstanding in the West about the nature of Islam, he says, there is also much ignorance about the depth our own culture and civilization owe to Islamic world. It is a failure which stems, I think, from the straitjacket of history, which we have inherited. The medieval Islamic world, from Central Asia to the shores of Atlantic, was a world where scholars and men of learning flourished. But because we have tended to see Islam as the enemy of the West, as an alien culture, society, and system of belief, we have tended to ignore or erase its great relevance to our own history. So I think Islam has a lot to contribute in the world, and I think these verses I have read may contribute a lot to the imbalances we are facing in the world, and we have to make interfaith coordination and cooperation in such a level that we have to see these verses as a contribution from Islam. And I know and heard, not deeply, the experts here may address on that, that also in Torah and in Bible, usury is also forbidden. But this is when it comes to the practice, nobody is fighting against this kind of system, as we are fighting some other problems in the world. And some last phrases I would like to address from Mrs. Florina, who was the Hewlett-Packard Corporation CEO. Although we are often unaware of in-depthness of other civilization, which she addresses Islam, its gifts are very much a part of our heritage. The technology industry would not exist without the contributions of Arab mathematicians. So every century, every culture, every belief may affect the other one in some way. And the effects might be positive or negative. But here I would like to address that this kind of usury-based, interest-based financial system is one of the biggest problems in the business community, in the international arena, run by the World Bank, IMF, and it is disturbing the social harmony in the global world. And everybody has to focus on the basis of these social problems from a financial perspective, which I have been dealing for so many years, and that's why I have chosen this topic as a very important topic I would like to address in such a summit. How many minutes do I have? Zero. Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me here, and I hope to see you again.